Hey there, Rogerbining. It is Saturday, January 14th, 2012. And I'm making this for Intervoice website, which is a site for people who hear voices. And this is a very real phenomenon that is happening in our society. And uh, I've gone through some of this experience. So I wanted to share these experience and hopefully enlighten everybody and let them know there's nothing really to be afraid of, and what actually is happening to them. So I've downloaded 30 pages, and these are comments from 2011 of people who have left comments on the Intervoice website. And I'm just gonna go through some of these comments and try to explain what is actually happening to you, because a lot of you kind of know. You can say what's happening, but you don't know why they're doing that, I guess. So first of all, these voices are real, and as some of you have said, they are external, but they're trying to make them internal. So you hear them externally at first, and other people around you hear them too. So, um, and then eventually, as you go through this experience, they try to make it internal. So what you actually think about or what you're hearing is what's uh, what's placed in your head, basically. So you're not really, you didn't really think those thoughts. So it's just what's placed there. And this is a really good technique to actually turn you against your family, your friends, your co-workers, because you're going to think that, like people said, they thought their houses were bugged or something, because they say everything that you're doing at the moment. So every little detail of your life, they're you go to grab a glass of water, like you're having a glass of water, oh, you're washing your hand, oh, you're doing this, this. So they're basically doing that to see, commenting on every little aspect, see if they can make you stop doing something, especially like healthy things. See if they can make you stop showering, or make you stop exercising, or make you stop eating healthy, and things like that. They just basically are trying to see if they can turn you into a basket case. So that's phase one. And you also hear these voices eternally. When I went through this experience, um, I actually took the vents apart, and I know I read some of your comments on there. I actually took the vents apart at the house because I thought somebody had a machine in the house that was pumping voices throughout the house. It was that loud. I was just like, this doesn't make sense. And so I took the vents apart. I went and looked over the furnace because all the voices were coming from the vents. And I read about it's good to actually keep in touch with the world and read the newspaper and uh, watch the news, because you'll see all sorts of events that are similar to this. Because what's interesting is a man in Vancouver who was shot to death by the police, and he was a cartoonist, and he said a similar thing, and he actually just, I guess he freaked out at what was happening, and they weren't able to calm him down, and he ended up getting shot 8 times. But he said they were pumping satanic voices into his house, and I went through a similar experience. So I took more of a logical approach. I'm like, what is this about? And so those are kind of the first two phases. First, they'll be external. The voices will come out of the vents and whatnot. Then they'll be commenting on everything you do and see if you can make you stop sitting or standing. Kind of, they're trying to freeze you, basically. See if you're stop living your life and stop speaking and stop talking. And then after, when that phase is over, they will also go after your family and friends. And like I said in my other video, and as I'm telling you now, is when you think your place is bugged and you're hearing the same conversation you just had with somebody from somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, then you think your place is bugged, right? And I went through a similar experience. But the thing you got to be careful here is they will, though this happened to me after, my computer and my phone have been hacked. So that kind of made it a double that kind of made it worse, because then I kind of tried to explain what was happening, and everybody thought I was just paranoid. They're like, oh, this place isn't bug, you're just paranoid. But the thing is, they can use this as an excuse to get away with criminal behavior. So you got to be careful of that aspect and make sure you write down and record and document, and open a file at the police station and call in anytime you think your phone is or computer been hacked. Because the other part, yes, it's just done mentally through your head. But but if they're actually doing physical things, such as such as hacking your phone or hacking your computer, make sure you document those things and record those things and record those incidences each time. And if you find something weird that's happening, uh, make sure you document those. And uh, so they'll go through your family and friends. They'll do your coworkers. They'll do the kids. They'll all act. They'll all be saying things where you think it basically make you paranoid. Where you think that your place is bugged. Like how that person know that, or how do you know this was what I was about to do, or whatnot. And your neighbors, and they'll also do your personal issues of which is like they'll do your sexuality or say things about your sexual nature or things that you can do or whatnot. So and then they'll also do religion and see if they can get you to like be all religious and go to church or something and start reading the Bible. So they go through all these things to see if they can actually impact some sort of control over the person. And that's basically what goes through here. And they're trying to evoke emotional response and make those external voices internal. So see, like this, Reina says, my voices are real and are familiar with every single detail of my life. That's just the first phase. Apart from the external voices you'll hear all around you, this will be the second phase where they'll just start, that'll be the second phase where they'll start just commenting on every single aspect of your life. And, uh, and don't do what they say. And yes, they will say, I will kill you, or kill yourself, kill yourself. They'll keep repeating that, see if you will kill yourself, basically. But, you know, the only one who can kill yourself is you. So that's why you got to kind of have a strong mind. And you might lose a bit of sleep at first. But basically, if you go through all this, then they can't ever screw with you again. So, and they bring up your past, so they know they basically know your life and are commenting on it. So but and somebody else out there might start commenting on it, but they don't really know, so don't get all paranoid and whatnot. You can actually just make fun of them. Like I called some of them John Malkovich. If you ever seen that movie, which is a good reference point, watch the movie Being John Malkovich. That's basically what it's like. They got a portal inside your head and they can make you behave a certain way where they get inside your head and they want you to talk like somebody and what do you call it, act like somebody and only and say certain things. Like I'd go out and I'd always be hearing somebody talking like a family member or or a friend, and it just seemed weird and strange. I was just like, what the hell is going on here? But it's nothing really to be afraid of. But what you don't want them left to do is modify your behavior. That's what they're trying to do. Basically, modify your behavior, make you behave a certain way. And once they have hacked your head, it's very difficult to tell if that's actually you making those decisions sometimes, or if it's them making a decision. Especially when I'm going to go ahead and say here who it is. Some of it's by the company and the corporation. They're out to make money off of you. So if they can get inside your head and evoke emotional responses about shopping or feeling good about certain things, chances are you're going to reward yourself by doing those things because it makes you feel good, right? So and you're going to make them money. So and you're going to go along with whatever crosses your mind. You're going to be basically it's a form of brainwashing, basically mind control. You're become automatic pilot. You become automatic where it's just whatever comes across your mind, you're gonna go do, and you see that all the time. So whether that be shopping, sexually, or something else, it's just they try to get a control of your life. Let's see what else other comments I have on here. I know the voices are through electronics, and the voices that belong to the people using the devices are sick. See, that's what I thought. I had to take the vents apart. I had to go and look in the furnace, but it's not. It's a projection of some sort. I don't know the exact technology. Like I've already obviously believed in some kind of a consciousness, but at the same time, I don't know how the voices are projected. Some of you have said satellites, skull satellite. What do you call it? Uh, Technology, but it might be just focusing on one person for a particular amount of time. Sometimes they're able to predict things. Sometimes they say things that aren't true. Yeah, they'll tell you things that are not true, and they'll predict things and tell you what's happening. And sometimes it's just because those events have already happened, but you don't know that they've happened. So it's not really predicting something. They're just telling you something that's already really happened. So They can. I think basically this, what this shows you is your own human nature, what kind of person you're going to turn out to be, because they try to say these negative and positive things and predict things that which way they say things that aren't true, and then they tell you, oh, do you believe everything you hear? Do you believe everything you hear? So I think they try to predict your true nature. This kind of shows your true nature as a person, what kind of person you are, because it kind of depends on the choices you make. Because they're always going to be there to try to make you do the bad choice or the easy choice, and they're going to make things difficult for you to live a healthy, productive life sometimes. But you can get through this. It's not terribly difficult. Um, so let's see what other things I've highlighted here. They're telling you you've been molested. That's common. Hallucinations. My mind is racing, keeping you awake. Your memory starts to slip. Yes, they do affect your memory, and you will start to forget things, and maybe you won't hear things either. It's just it might be the traumatic experience of hearing these all the time that something happens to your mind, and you will uh, you will forget things. But the, your mind is a muscle, basically. It's just like the rest of your body, it's a muscle. So the more you use it, the more you work on it, the more you're reading and whatnot you do, and memory skill games, always to be conscious, have a conscious mind and a self-awareness. Then that will help you just it will help you get through this, basically. Because otherwise, you know what they say to me, what they've told me is they build people up and then they knock them down. So you find things really easy, but the thing is, it's because they have had a control of your mind, and they can, and you feel like this this person that can achieve everything. Everything is so clear, all the thoughts come really clear, but that's not really your mind that's working. There's some kind of help coming in from the externally. So once you start relying on that, once they start putting an end to that, you will basically become, they'll try to make you look really stupid. They'll build you up and they'll knock you down. So it's best to do things the hard way, basically, is to go through this and just work on your memory. And it's very difficult to work and go through this experience. It's pretty difficult to uh, like from my aspect, from what I've been through, it would probably be pretty difficult for the average person to actually be able to do this. So it would just driving and whatnot. If these voices are distracting you, you could get in an accident pretty damn easy. And these other people will come. What they do is they come, and as your mind is distracted, because they're, if you start tuning into it, you'll start getting distracted, and then they'll have these other cars on the road that will come and they'll start braking in front of you, trying to see if you're paying attention or not, see if you rear end somebody. So it's quite the experience, anyways. So you have to be very conscious of what's happening, and it takes a little time to just go through this entire experience, basically. Sometimes they're beneficial, sometimes they're not. One of very elite minority of people who have had this decision to walk through the next door of evolution, this path that are people. Well, this is kind of evolutionary, because you know what? If you do go through this and you do survive it and you do come out on the other side, I think you're a better human being. You're actually one of the few people on the planet who can think for yourselves. A lot of you can't think for yourselves. I know that's a hard lesson, and I know you probably don't want to hear that. You're like, oh, this guy's an asshole, but that's reality. That's exactly what your minds are. They're programmed, and they are telling you what to do and say. That's why it's not really bugged. It's more of a mind hacking thing that's going on. But if you can get through this, you can actually think for yourself. And some thoughts do slip into your mind. I know thoughts slip into my mind, and I can feel the thoughts going across my mind. But sometimes you can just decide to use this thought, and like I said, it'll kind of test your human nature, see which thoughts you want to do and what you want to talk about. And uh, they gave me correct answers in school, see? And they would ask me philosophical questions about conversations with them. They give you correct answers in school, and they'll help you become successful. So when you read the papers and you see these really successful people doing really stupid things, like doctors and lawyers and politicians who've become at the top of elite in society and have done all this schooling and whatnot, they've relied on this. So when their life falls apart, it's because they were never able to think for themselves. So they couldn't think their way out of a situation. So now they're uh, they've killed their family, or and there's been a couple of that cardiologist from Montreal. There's been a few of those cases. There's been a couple of big scandals with but then there's always scandals. But this is what, from what I've learned, this is what I attribute that to. That's what basically happens to them is they've taken an easy path, and it's hard not to, because if you're giving the correct right answers and you can make a bunch of money, and you don't really have to think. You're just automatic. You're not